So I'm in this really cool, small little town called Creemore. It's about an hour and 45 minutes north of Toronto. It is a very cool place. They've done a lot to this town over the years, and I'm gonna talk to you about what I'm gonna do to get fit and how I'm gonna stay motivated. Let's just do this. Over the years, I've lost the weight and I've gained the weight.
You can't cure the obesity just by saying eat fewer calories, because you're not understanding why the body is storing more energy.
With the amount of information we now have, the amount of science we have, one would expect that obesity levels would be coming down.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you think about...
Lost the weight, gained the weight, and I'm back fat again. Or I should say, I'm at a set point where my body always kinds to default now. And I'm 6 foot and I'm 221 pounds. I'm middle-aged, and going through these roller coasters over the last little while has taught me a number of things. And looking at the comment section, I get motivated. I get motivated from other factors, from my wife, my daughter, my friends. But when you look at the comments in my videos, there's so much positivity, there's so much joy, there's so much like everyone's kind of rooting for me and stuff like that. But then there are those comments that kind of like, it's like a knife in the back, right? I use those ones as motivation. And over the last little while, I've gotten myself into a predicament. And the predicament is very, I don't know, it just seems like it's this particular cycle over and over and over again. And I've kind of learned what works, what doesn't. Now, for me to get back into shape, for me to be able to get faster, running at a low heart rate, drop the weight, put on some muscle, I know what I need to do because I've been there before. However, it's the starting point that's always the hardest. And so if you resonate with me, then you'll understand, right? But if you're female, if you're like 5'2", weigh next to nothing, and is an extremely fast runner, then it may not be something that's gonna work for you to motivate you. However, we are all different, right? There's no two of me. There's no two of you. But what there's some commonalities that we could learn together. And today I'm going to talk to you about kind of how I plan on and how I've done it in the past to stay motivated, to be able to push through and start to change my life in a good, positive way and get fit again and not drag around all this extra weight, because I hate dragging around the extra weight. The first thing that works extremely well for me is the night before I start to get things in place. Specifically, I'm most motivated the night before. So when I get home from work, I'm kind of like, okay, what are the things I need to do so I can be my best self first thing in the morning and make it happen? First off is setting my alarm, because without that, I ain't getting up. The second thing is kind of putting things in my car that need to be there, like the bike helmet, the running shoes, the gloves, the water, the whatever it is that I need in there, I'll make sure it's in there. Because if not, I'm running around trying to figure my stuff out when it's still dark in the morning and my motivation is extremely low because I'm literally just trying to wake up. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Now, the things that people say online are kind of crazy. You have a lot of fitness influencers who really don't walk the walk, or they do talk the talk, but then they end up not continuing it. And I think I'm kind of in that camp where I started off doing extremely well, like 4 years ago. And over the last little while, I've used my injury to my knee a number of years ago as a reason why I wasn't kind of getting back into it. And then what happened was my pillars of success started to fall. The motivation went out the door. Once I lost my motivation, then my sleeping habits became really just all over the place, and I wasn't going to bed early enough. And when that happened, my other pillar fell, and that had to do with eating healthy. Because the later I stayed awake at night, that came crashing down. And once that came crashing down, the house of cards was done, right? It wobbled and it wobbled on all three legs, and then boom, down I went. And it was very tough to look at that and go, oh man, like how do I come back from this? How do I make it happen? And so I started using the Maffetone method again. And as I started using the Maffetone method, it was fantastic. Everything started to kind of come back into play. But then even that started to go, but because I kind of was missing out on a couple of other things that my friends were doing, and I kind of got down on myself, and all these things, I don't know, I ended up not in a good place. And so when you're at the bottom of the pit and you're looking up going, that's a long way up there. And when you're down there, have you been down here before and thought, how the heck am I going to get up? That's how I felt. I felt like I was kicked to the ground. But over time, over this year, I've been working my way back to getting into a good place. It has taken time. And I'm in a good place to move forward. Now, there are some things that's going on behind the scenes that you guys don't know, right? And look, not everything can be on video, right? My wife, she's private. My daughter is private. There's a lot of things that's happening in our family that's really extremely hard to even talk about, and I'm worried about. And as I worry about people's health, and when you don't have a diagnosis on what's happening and you're seeing your loved ones, you're seeing them fall apart, and you're seeing them just crater, and it's really hard. Mental illness is extremely hard thing to understand for some people. And it's even hard to even talk about. And so when your family's not in a good place, I'm not in a good place. Because the loved ones I care about most are struggling, and there's nothing that I can do other than support them through the process that they're going through, so that way they could come back and be better. But the problem is our medical diagnoses are not there. We haven't fully got to the understanding of what the underlying problem is with my wife. And it's been going on for 2.5 years now. And we still don't know. And my once active, vibrant wife is not so vibrant and active anymore. And watching it reverse and go backwards is extremely hard. Now, I say this in all honesty because I am doing what I can to stay active so I can stay good up here. And looking at where my times have been in my running, with the amount of stress that I've been under, I'm not surprised that I haven't improved. Stress plays a crucial component to heart rate training. And if that's the method that you're using to see results, specifically if you're training in zone 2 or the Maffetone method, stress, you got to remove it from your life. But again, how do you remove it from your life when everyone around you that you love the most is struggling so much. And that's hard. And it's a hard place to be. But it is the hard, honest truth of the matter. So when I say I am trying my best, when I say I am doing everything I can to come back and be better and stronger and in more fitness than I have in the past, believe me, I am doing it for me. And when I do it for me, and when I'm in a good place, then everyone else around me benefits. Who wants to be around somebody who's negative all the time, who's down on themselves all the time, who always sees the problem and never sees a solution, right? I know a lot of people like that, and I try to avoid them like the plague. I don't want to be around people like that. It's the worst feeling to be around that. So I cut ties with people like that because I can't do it. Because I got enough going on in my life as it is. So with that being said, this is my why. This is what's so flippin' important. And this is what makes me want to move forward. That makes me want to be better, right? To get out and run and do the thing I enjoy most. But if it doesn't bring me joy and I just feel like a failure all the time, then it's hard to kind of talk about because I don't want to talk about failure. I don't want to talk about how awful I feel or how down and out I've been and stuff like that. I don't want to talk about that, right? I want to talk about other things. But we got to talk about the bad, the ugly, the negative, because that's reality. That's life. That's what I'm going through. And so when I share it with you, maybe it helps you know that you're not alone in what you're going through. Because I'm sure all of us are going through something in our life. And if this can just help one person not feel so lonely and not feel so discouraged in their training, then I think that's a win for me. Down here you can see the Bruce Trail continues along Lavender, right? It goes all the way up. This trail is absolutely stunning. It is such a joy to run. And it's one of the places that brings a lot of happiness, specifically when I'm sad. I like all kinds of different types of exercises. Running, biking, exploring, it really doesn't matter. I just like to get out and move. And today I found myself needing to fix my bike because things started to break on me, so I needed to fix things. But then I found this kind of a wicked trail, and I'm pretty excited to check it out. I don't know about you, but this whole map is kind of confusing. I don't even know whether I'm coming or going. It's always nice to be able to find one of these at a trailhead. Okay, I gotta get this thing out and I gotta get it fixed. I finished showing properties and now I just realized that they have the tools I need to fix the brakes on my bike. This time of year is absolutely beautiful. It's warm, it's cool, it changes from day to day. And it's really neat that they have these places that you can actually fix your bikes, like literally on the trail. I don't tend to carry a lot of tools with me in my car. See what this trail is like. Maybe Sean and I can come here on one of our ride days. But this is definitely off trail, like we're talking single track. Now these trails are something else. I ended up in the trail system, biking down these crazy hills, realizing that I was getting deeper and deeper into the woods. And I wasn't really dressed for the occasion. I just finished work and I thought I'd take my bike out for a quick spin. Okay, I think I've just fallen in love with a new place to go run and ride. I don't want to go back up. But you can get lost in here. This is crazy. I turned around in this place. I don't have a map. So I'm trying. Well, you could get lost in here, that's for sure. You know, I've been running for a long time and I've seen some great results. But what happens when you don't see the results after years of running and you feel like you're just running yourself into the ground? Look, this is me. This is the situation that I'm in, and I'm kind of done with it. So as I do a lot of this cycling 1 day a week, I realize that I can't go the whole year like this because we get snow. And so when wintertime comes, or even late fall comes, it's too cold to ride on the trails. Because again, a lot of these trails aren't going to be, plowed or anything like that. So what Sean and I have decided that we're going to do is we're going to join a gym, and we're going to go twice a week. And I'm just going to start with getting strong, because I know as a runner, there are things that I need to be doing, cross training and specifically strength training, to keep me in a good position so I don't get injured and I don't get hurt. And as I stay strong, I'm able to run those uphills. I'm able to do the things on the trail that a lot of my buddies can do. I just can't do it. I have to walk the hills. And some of these guys, man, they can just run up a hill and they got no problem doing it. Me, on the other hand, I'm not as strong as I once was, so I know that I have to work on that. But I also know that I got to get rid of the gut too. So there's a diet component that needs to happen, and it already has. So I've talked about the whole sugar thing, okay? And I did a post on my community, I did a community post on the channel talking about how I've been able to work through the whole sugar thing. Good run. When the temperature gets cooler, the fitness shows, and today is one of those days. I am feeling so good. In a week of cutting back on sugar has really started to make a significant impact in my brain. It's hard to explain, but I don't know, I just seem a little bit more focused and not as jittery. I haven't given up sugar entirely, but I have significantly cut back. So we'll see how this goes for the next 30 days. And as we continue on, I'm going to just keep on documenting what the heck's going on with me. And yes, there are times, like I talked about, when the pillars come falling down, it hurts me bad. And I just feel like a fraud. So I have been doing everything I can to not be that fraud and to be true and honest to myself and you. Because I know how hard it can be to ditch the added sugar. I know because I'm living it right now. So, in the evening times, I know that there's things I have to do to make sure that I don't go snacking. And that's the hardest part, is at nighttime, right? When I'm editing a video or I'm just watching Netflix or a number of other YouTubers that I watch. I know what the triggers are, and again, I go down, I do push-ups, I'll do sit-ups, drinking water, or I just go to bed and I'm done. If you're seeing results, it's easy to keep going. But if you're not seeing the results, what changes do you need to make so that way you can kind of get back into that state of mind of like, okay, I can keep running, I can keep seeing improvement, just the motivation kind of kicks back in. Like running a marathon is one thing, running a half marathon is another, but just getting out for your mental well-being is something that, I think a lot of people don't really realize how amazing it can be, right? From a runner's standpoint, I know what it's like, you know what it's like, and you know what you feel like after you've gone out for a run. But what happens when you don't enjoy it? What happens when you come home and you're kind of criticizing yourself for not improving, for, what's the point, right? That's where you kind of get in your head. Some may ask, hey Dave, how have you been running all this time and not seen any improvements? Look, I have seen improvements, okay? I've seen a little bit, and then it drops off, and then a little bit, and then it drops off. But what I'm thinking and what I'm looking at is a year ago, when I did my 90 days of running in a row, I had built up a lot of fitness. But then the winter time came and a lot of things started happening, specifically stress-wise with my family. And so I just wasn't in a good place. And eating comfort food helped me kind of get through those times. And unfortunately, I started yo-yoing with that diet, like I had talked about a number of times in my other videos. And it's hard to look at that and not feel like a fraud. But at the end of the day, you got to do what it is you got to do, right? And, you know, if it means eating a little bit of stuff that I shouldn't be eating, yeah, okay. I mean, I could be in a worse place weight-wise right now than I would have if I hadn't been running. So yeah, running was able to kind of stabilize the whole weight gain and whatever, but it didn't get rid of the weight because the food I was putting back in was just too much. And as I ate too much, I could only run off so much. And so my body just kind of stayed the same. And on top of that, I really screwed up my metabolism. So my metabolism is a mess. So then I know the question that you're going to ask next is, so Dave, how are you going to fix it? Well, I plan on fixing it with the whole intermittent fasting. So I know what I've done in the past, and intermittent fasting worked extremely well for me. Now, I'm not going to do like a 7-day fast or anything like that like I did before, or even a 30-day water fast that I've done. I'm just going to focus on the whole aspect of having an eating window, because really I don't get hungry until the afternoon. But I haven't really been doing this whole intermittent fasting in the last little while, and I think that's where a lot of this stuff has started to happen to me. So adding that back in, I think that will help me kind of reset the body, right? Help reset. Now, some of you are going to say, hey, Dave, just got to start eating meat. Eat meat. That's all you got to do. Well, sorry, guys, I don't like eating meat. That's just the reality. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't like it. And so that being said, I don't consume it, right? I get my protein source from a lot of other places. But what I will do is I'll go back through my diary. I'll go back to what I was doing before when I was training for my ultra marathon, and I'll go back to that, because that guy there, I know that I can do that, and I know it works. So definitely intermittent fasting once I get back on that train. So basically intermittent fasting, I'm not going to eat until probably around noon, right? Maybe 1 o'clock, noon, 1 o'clock, something like that. And then I will stop eating probably around 8 o'clock, just because it's this busy season type of thing going on now. So I'm kind of out late in the evening with clients and stuff. So anyways, so a good 8-hour eating window, or maybe it's a 7-hour eating window. I'm not too sure exactly, but that's kind of where it's probably going to sit. And I know that will help. So dialing in with my diet, also dealing with intermittent fasting, I know that I can kind of reset my whole metabolism, and I can kind of get back into a good state. Now, again, I'm going to eat all my vegetables, and I'll eat my tempeh and tofu and my, walnuts and my almonds and cashews and all of that, right? Pumpkin seeds, organic peanut butter, I'll have staples of a lot of that. I'll have beans. Obviously I'll have spinach and broccoli and cauliflower and carrots and green and red peppers and, all the just healthy stuff, Brussels sprouts, just that kind of stuff. I know it'll be good for me. So getting rid of the junk, going back to what really does work for me, because I know me, right? Remember what I said before, we're all different. I know what works for me, and that's why I know I can do this and move forward. It's just the stress that I'm under that's causing a lot of the problems that I'm dealing with. So anyways, I'm working on that too. Get out and run even when it's busy. So I've been specifically trying to wake up earlier in the morning, go to bed earlier at night, and be more present throughout certain times of the day. I mean, look how clear this water is. And my final point about how I plan on getting fit again is having fun. Because if you're not having fun, you may as well not do it at all. Because how much fun is doing something that you don't have fun at doing, right? Let's go play some ping pong. I'm in Creemore, and they have this ping pong table. So you can play ping pong in this place. It's just outside. It's pretty cool. Oh, okay, let's try that again. You want to play with me? You got to hit it this time. I've never played ping pong outside on a concrete table. So that's my plans, guys. That's how I plan on getting fit and getting healthier. Oh yeah, and running the best I could possibly can. So here's my question to you. What are you gonna do to get healthy, to run your best that you possibly can, and to show up for yourself? What are you gonna do? Tell me in the comments. Inquiring minds want to know.